Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to Write With Me. I'm Danita Jones, and here we do two 25-minute sprints with a 5 to 10-minute break in between. Mostly, I'm researching, but some people are writing, and then some people are just, doing admin work and so forth. But whatever you're doing, I'm happy that you're here and welcome aboard, and let's get things done. I'm currently still researching Peter Crosby's story regarding the Vicksburg Massacre. I am still in the midst of the over 500-page document of testimonies from the congressional hearings that took place after the massacre happened. And I am in Mary Jackson's testimony right now. Mary's fiance was killed in the massacre, so she's giving her testimony, and I am going to get to it. This is also the week right before the holiday, right before Christmas. In the entertainment industry, we normally are completely shut down for the full 2 weeks of, Christmas and New Year's. So, but I am still going to be doing this right with me over the next couple of weeks. I will be down on Christmas Day, and I think I may still just do every single day on the New Year's week, but just be down on Christmas Day. And I'll put it in the post. I don't know if people are really even seeing the YouTube posts when I post them, but I will put that there. So, all right, well, get started and start this sprint. Okay. My scribbling here doesn't seems to be frozen. Hmm. Where's the force quoted? Let's see here. Force quote. Scrivener. And let's open it. Let's see what happens here. My Scrivener was frozen, so I had to restart it or force quit it. And let's see. Okay, like I'm back in business. Okay, sounds good here. Excuse me. Where did I leave off with Mary Jackson? Oh, wow. Good morning. He's just being so disrespectful. Let's see. He's just being disrespectful there. We're trying to get under her skin. I wonder if Moses is innovation. All right, time for our break. Oh, I didn't do the break part. Let's change this. Okay. All right, I need to reset it. Anyway, so welcome, Yul Spencer. Good morning. You said opening bell has rung. Okay, so you probably have already darted off. But I'm in the midst of going over the testimony for Mary Jackson, and she's testifying about her fiance that was killed. And the Congressman O'Brien is really kind of just baiting her. Um, she was supposed to marry her fiance that Thursday, but he was killed on that Monday. And so O'Brien was like, "Well, so tell me about yours. How did he, let's see, I think I had it. The sweetheart line. Let's see here. Was he your sweetheart?" And she said, "No, sir, he was not my sweetheart. He was my engagement." So she's making sure that's clear. And then later, he says, "So your lover had his sidearms with him." She didn't correct him or anything on that, but you could just tell that he is just trying to get under her skin. I'm like, look, she just lost the person that she was supposed to marry she lost him a couple of days before they were supposed to get married. But I just feel like he was just trying to get under her skin. And so let's see. Yeah, he's trying to bait her. He really is. And so you're still here. I didn't know if you had went off to focus on the stock market since the bell. Yes, it is 7 a.m. Pacific time here. So I think the bell rang at 6:30. You have to correct me if I'm wrong because it's been a minute. No, I'm here doing both. Okay. Well, great. I'm glad you're here. And so yeah, so he is really just baiting her, but she's, steadfast and just, answering his questions and moving forward. Like one of the other people that testified, the one right before her was Peggy Wynell. and she testified about seeing her husband being killed. And she actually named the names of the person, named the name of the person that killed her husband. His name is Alex. And they just kept questioning her about, like, well, how far away were you? Did you really see? She's like, no, he was right there. As far as way from me to you standing here talking to me, he was right there. I know who killed my husband. And so she was one of the few people that have been very brave enough to name names. Many of the earlier testimonies, some of the black men, they would not name names because a lot of the people that had tried to kill them or said that they were going to be killed, by them, were in the courthouse. And so they were like, look, we are, live with these people, live around these people, they're our neighbors, and we're not going to say anything. And so or like one gentleman, Charles Smith, I think it was, um, he said, okay, well, we can go to the back and talk. But then when he got into the back room, the congressman said, well, this will still be public record. And so then Charles decided not to testify anymore regarding the subject. And then there was another gentleman, which was maybe it was Andrew. I think it was Andrew Owen. He, throughout his testimony, kept saying, I'm only going to say so much. I'm not going to tell it all. Again, because he was afraid for his safety. But the women that have been coming forward has really, so far, many of them have just been, naming names. And Frances Holmes, she spoke earlier too. She named the name of a person who said that he was going to kill all the Black people that he saw. And I looked for his name to see if he actually testified or if they called him to testify. He did not. But the person that Peggy Wynell said that killed her husband, Alex, they did have him testify. And of course, he denied it. And so not only did they have Peggy as an eyewitness, but according to his testimony, they had also mentioned another person that had named him in the killing of Peggy's husband. I don't know if he actually got to trial. I need to go through newspaper archives to see about that. And now I'm going to reset this to do our next 25-minute sprint. All right. Unless anyone has any questions, we're just going to get going with the next sprint. So, okay. Oh, that's the end of her testimony. Okay. So now I'm finally on page 300 of the congressional hearing testimony. So, woohoo! Like only 200 and some more pages left to go, even though I still need to backtrack to go over some of the other ones I skipped over. But this is more than half, so it's great. So now it's Jane Robinson's testimony that I'm at now. Mingo was a preacher. Oh my God. They're asked if Mingo Green was an old man, and she says a very old man, and so then he said, "So how old?" And she said he was about 40 years old. A very old man, 40 years old. So she's 30. So why would she think 40 is so old? Anyway, she says his hair was really all white. We say, yeah, that was the day 40 was the old 80, right? And so, but she says his hair was mostly all white. Um, and she's only 30. So I'm like, you're only like 10 years away from that. So, and she said he was very feeble. So, I mean, I know life was very hard in those times, but still, I don't know. I think he was probably a little older than that. Okay. So they finally break it down. She doesn't really know years of age because they talk to her about, um, how old she is. And she's like, I'm 30. And then, and they asked, if he's older than she is. And she's like, yes, then, and they're asked, is it a good deal? She's like, yes, sir. It's like 10 years. She reckons more than 10 years. And then the congressman was like, that would only make him about 40 years old. And then she's like, well, I don't know his age. You don't, and then he asked, you don't know about years of age, do you? And she says, no. So, uh, what did you say, Yul? They were scared into white hair back in those days. No, he was afraid. No, and that's true. I've seen also in some of these testimonies too. They have talked about men having a lot of white hair, gray hair, and they weren't that old. And so it was just from fear, living the life that they were living. Cut off? What? Okay, so I had heard about Mingo Green being killed before, but I didn't have um, details. According to Jane, she's saying that not only was he shot, but part of his head, the top of his head was cut off. She said it looks like it was a saber that that they used to cut him. I mean, I know I read also in other testimonies about some of the other black men that were killed that their ears were cut off. But yeah, in these later testimonies, we're getting so much more graphic detail about what was done to these poor men. Judy Coleman. Excuse me. That's my time. Okay. Let's clear the screen here. Okay. All right. So that's the end of that sprint. Let's see what you'll say. Yeah, they were really sick in those sick in their doings. Yeah, and they need to own their nastiness. True. Yep. Facts. Um, so yeah, her. I say every time I get into, especially the women's testimonies, the Black women testimonies, they give so much more, even though it's their testimonies have been brief, but very effective with giving the information, not holding back anything. So it's going to be really interesting as I'm developing the novel series and seeing who I'm picking and choosing, because I'm planning it over a 3-book series. Um, but of course, I can't focus on every single person. And I've been toying around with the idea of doing some verticals to tell each testimony. So at least they would live, somewhere more so than just, buried in these documents that were even difficult to find when I initially started looking for them. But just so that more people would know about what happened. And then once I'm done with this series, Vicksburg, who knows, I may cover other massacres too. There have been novels written about the Colfax massacre in Louisiana, And then, of course, we have Rosewood and then, Tulsa, but there's so many more that happened. And I'm going to, after I'm done with at least mapping out things for Vicksburg, I will start, thinking forward of what the next one could be. So, but that is it for me today. Have a wonderful weekend. If most people, and then, like I said earlier when I first came on, at least in the entertainment industry, it normally shuts down for 2 weeks during the Christmas, New Year's week. So even my agent's office yesterday was like, see ya. Have a good one. So they're not even in the office today. So I'm just wishing everyone happy holidays. I will be back next week, Monday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. I will take Christmas Day off, but I will be here, all those other days, Monday through Friday, except for Christmas Day. So have a wonderful weekend. Have a great day and happy writing.